CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
We begin with a weather impact alert. The fire danger not over yet. Much of Southern California is still under a red flag warning. Glad you're with us at 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Neda Irampour. And we have team coverage this morning. CBS 8's Regina Urita live at CAL FIRE headquarters with local preparations. We do want to start with meteorologist Evan Irani tracking the Santa Ana winds. Evan, how much more of this?
So we got a final day today of those Santa Ana winds. Red flag warning and wind advisory both in effect through 6 p.m. today. Winds are going to be picking up in speed for the mid-morning and afternoon stretch and then dying down, especially off toward our inland valleys and our mountains today. Temperatures are going to be at their warmest. We've got a lot of our inland valleys in the low to mid-70s. El Cajon could hit 75 degrees this afternoon. That's about 10 degrees warmer than normal. Out along the coastline, we're about 5 degrees warmer than normal for this afternoon. And again, this is what we're talking about. This is the reason why those gusty offshore winds are driving down our humidity. So it's very dry out there and leading to some gusty winds coming over the mountains. So that's going to be the biggest problem that we have on hand for the day today. But after that, going into tomorrow through the weekend, we've got some changes in sight that'll bring us to cooler temperatures, cloudier skies. We'll have details on what that's going to look like coming up in just a bit.
All right, Evan, thank you. And now this morning, new video obtained by CBS News could hold the key to what sparked the massive fires in Los Angeles.
CBS News confirms this video was shot just 3 minutes after the inferno erupted near electrical towers above Altadena. Yesterday, investigators were seen there probing for evidence. Federal investigators also swarmed near Skull Rock Trailhead, where the Palisades fire is believed to have started. Officials have not commented on theories that it may have been caused when embers from this New Year's Eve fire possibly reignited.
Let's get you caught up on the latest numbers here. Right now, the Palisades fire under 24,000 acres. It is 18% contained still. In Altadena, the Eaton fire is more than 14,000 acres, and that one stands at 35% containment. These fires have killed at least 25 people, and that number is expected to rise. We are hearing from San Diego crews about what it was like when they arrived to the Palisades fire.
It was intense. The first night we got up here, I think the fire was burning, I think at that point for maybe 9 hours before we got dispatched. We were up on the north end of the fire up in there. Fire behavior was really erratic. Winds were really strong. We did a lot of structure protection.
Yeah, those crews telling us they hope they can come home soon. They miss obviously being home in their beds. They've been working tirelessly out there. Meantime, San Diego firefighters here remain on alert. We are still under a red flag warning, as Evan mentioned this morning.
Yeah, look at this. Yesterday, crews responded to several fires around San Diego. See all the locations right there on your screen. CBS 8's Regina Urita live at CAL FIRE headquarters now in El Cajon with how we can all be prepared for this year. Regina?
Yeah, well, Eric and Neda, yesterday, firefighters were doing everything they can to put out any flames that might have flared up yesterday. Of course, they did an incredible job. They secured a perimeter and really extinguished those fires. But residents who were in that area noticed what happened. Take a listen.
Grabbed our cat and some, just some stuff, and we're ready to take off if we needed to.
Now, yesterday, crews extinguished 2 separate fires in Mission Valley, then another underneath the riverbed near the Mission San Diego trolley stop. Flames were quickly stopped by firefighters. Both fires are still under investigation, but incidents like these serve as a reminder of why CAL FIRE is on high alert with these windy conditions. As we continue to deal with gusty winds, fire officials say it's another day to be keeping a close eye on areas with much of that dry brush and low humidity. Now, CAL FIRE has built a list of things to have ready in case you and your family are evacuated during any wildfire or disaster. So first thing, ensuring that you have that wildfire to-go bag that includes a 3-day supply of non-perishable food and 3 gallons of water per person. Have a map with at least 2 evacuation routes, and make sure to take the necessary prescriptions or medications. Pack a change of clothes and extra eyeglasses, contact lenses, really anything that you need for that to-go bag, and definitely have extra car keys in case you need to evacuate. So back out here, as mentioned, CAL FIRE will be keeping a closer eye on areas that might seem to have any flames that could flare up, especially with that low humidity and dry brush that San Diego County is dealing with these windy conditions. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Regina, thanks for the latest there. Heavy winds prompting SDG&E to cut power to a number of San Diegans to prevent large wildfires from sparking. This morning, more than 5,600 customers are without power. Another 49,000 are at risk for shutoffs. The communities could be left in the dark until tomorrow night. Because of the high winds and potential outages, more schools are closed today. They include the Mountain Empire Unified School District, Lakeside Farms Elementary, and Dreams Academy in the Lakeside Union School District.
And now this just in, inflation increased in December. We just got these numbers in. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Consumer prices were up 2.9% from a year earlier compared to 2.7% in November. Month-to-month prices were up 0.4%.
Today, the Imperial Beach City Council will discuss tenant protections, and some say they don't go far enough.
CBS 8's Chris Groh joining us live in IB this morning to tell us what's being considered and how people are reacting to this. Good morning, Chris.
Yeah, good morning. And look, the term that's been coined by the group of tenants that are currently going through this right now, as well as advocates, called rent-evictions. Essentially, you get an eviction notice. It's no fault of your own, but the landlord decided that they are going to renovate your apartment or the home that you're in, and so you can no longer occupy that space. It's legal under state and local law. But the tenants that live here in the two apartment complexes in which this is happening feel that the landlords are taking advantage of that law, and now they are facing a really pricey rental market, many of them saying they can no longer afford to live in a new place and that they would prefer to keep the current place that they are living in because they could afford that rent. They had been there for a long time or for other reasons. Now, they would like to see, and that's something that they've called for, is a ban on these no-fault evictions, specifically like rent evictions. Many have been protesting. They've made their way to City Hall. City Council has heard those calls for action, and on the agenda tonight, a first reading of an ordinance that aims to reduce those so-called rent evictions. Basically, it would require landlords to offer relocation assistance and money to tenants that's subject to rent evictions. I read the draft, and it states that the payments would be an equal amount of 1 month of what's called the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development small area fair market amount for their zip code. So let's take zip code in here in IB 91932. That would be about $2,000 for a one bedroom. Then they would also receive 1 month of actual rent that is listed in the lease. So if you pay $2,500 a month, that would be about a $4,500 payment. Now, according to the Alliance of Californians for Community, this doesn't go far enough. In a statement, they wrote, quote, "With rents in Imperial Beach and elsewhere in San Diego County skyrocketing, these proposed changes will do little to protect tenants from unscrupulous landlords who want to abuse the substantial remodel loophole to throw struggling tenants out onto the streets just so they can hike up rents and profit. The City Council must immediately pass a ban on rent evictions as the only way to curb evictions and prevent more homelessness in Imperial Beach." The City Council will be meeting at 6 p.m. tonight, and of course, we will continue to follow any developments that come from today's meeting. Eric and Netta.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris, for that. And new this morning, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has agreed to do a full public health study on the impacts of the Tijuana sewage on people's health. The study will look into how exposure to hydrogen sulfide, that's what makes it smell the way it does in the South Bay, can harm people's health. This comes after the Environmental Protection Agency rejected a petition to consider the Tijuana River Valley for Superfund designation that would have let the EPA take over cleanup efforts. So now CDC will be investigating.
Of course, so many people have told us they've gotten sick from that, so it's good the CDC is finally looking into this. Right. Hopefully the results stoke something to be done about that
Something that leaders have been asking for consistently.
Yes, absolutely.
It feels like a summer day out there, even though it's the month of January for us. I mean, we have 70s in the forecast, sunny skies. That is a rarity for us, not only in terms of going a day with it, but let alone weeks, months with it. And that's really what we've been seeing, is that we've had consistent afternoon highs that have been above average. We've had consistent clear and dry skies. So it has been quite a winter so far for us, even though it hasn't really felt like one. Red flag warning is in effect until 6 p.m. This is partially the cause for the clear skies because those winds are coming from the east. They're driving down our humidity values, and that means that there is just not enough moisture out there for any clouds to form. Those winds are coming out of the east. They're also warming us up. So not only do they contribute to the clear skies, but they contribute to that warmer air resting along the coast and inland. Take a look at where your gusts are right now 40 miles per hour in Julian, 31 in Pine Valley, 30 in Campo. Between now and the about mid-morning stretch, we should see those winds intensify, especially over the mountains headed toward the coastline. Ramona at 20 miles per hour, Alpine at 36. And then we'll watch as those winds going into the evening start to die down. 7 p.m. is 1 hour after we see that red flag warning and high wind, wind advisory expire. So by 7 p.m. we should be free of all of our weather alerts in the county of San Diego. That is, of course, unless the National Weather Service extends or reissues one of those alerts. But right now, there's not an indication that that will take place. Now, when we look at those arrows pointing back to the coast by Thursday, that means cool, moist air from the Pacific is going to head back on shore, help to give us some clouds that'll start to build beginning tomorrow. Right now, out the door, it's quite cold. Ramona's sub-freezing at 31 degrees. El Cajon is almost there at 33, Escondido 34. I mean, it's kind of arbitrary when there's very little moisture out there. 30s are 30s, so it is cold across many of our inland valleys. Mount Laguna at 33, Carlsbad at 44, and Del Mar at 47. So by the time we get to the afternoon, we'll see those 30s turn into 70s. Nice stretch through the day. And looks like as we get toward the later portion of the weekend, while those afternoon highs will slide, we'll start to usher in a bit more humidity. And that'll increase our rain chances just about that much. Doesn't help us out much, but it does start to indicate that we'll have a few more clouds in sight and that you'll notice that it won't be quite as dry as it has been for the last several days. Let's take a look at your roads so far this morning where things have been very quiet. We'll take you to a couple things. First thing I want to point out is that, unsurprisingly, right now the Coronado Bridge is very busy. You got stop and go traffic across the bridge. Second thing is a stalled vehicle that just popped up. It's blocking the entry ramp to the 15 northbound, and this is on the 8 exit there. So the 8 westbound shoulder is where you might have some trouble getting from the 8 westbound to the 15 northbound because of the stalled vehicle. CHP is on scene right now. Doesn't look like it's causing any major backups in either of those freeways, so we'll keep you up to date. Let's take a look at your border wait times right now. It's a 105-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. Otay Mesa Port of Entry, you should be able to get across about 30 minutes faster, taking you about 75 minutes in total. Back to you.